Welcome to MKD Crimes. Tragic plane crash in Mesa. 5 confirmed dead after jet strikes SUV and bursts into flames on November 5th. At 8:11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, authorities confirmed 5 fatalities in a devastating crash involving a Honda HA420 jet. The plane failed to take off, struck an SUV, and burst into flames. The identities of the victims and whether they were passengers or bystanders remain unclear. Earlier reports from 6:39 p.m. indicate that 4 individuals on board the aircraft and 1 person in a vehicle were pronounced deceased. The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed the crash occurred at 4:40 p.m. near East McKellips Road and North Greenfield Road. The area will remain closed for several hours as investigations continue. Eyewitnesses described thick, dark smoke billowing into the air, with the aircraft reportedly hitting 2 vehicles before the explosion. Local authorities and the FAA are working to gather more details on this tragic event. Orlando. Shooting leaves, 2 dead, 6 injured, suspect in custody. In a press conference, the Orlando police chief confirmed that 6 victims, aged 19 to 39, are in stable condition after being treated for gunshot wounds. The identities of the 2 individuals who tragically lost their lives remain undisclosed. Authorities have released video footage on social media showing the incident and the arrest of the suspected gunman, Jalen Dwanya Edgar, at the scene. Local news sources report that 2 people were pronounced dead, with 6 others transported to nearby hospitals. Emergency services declared this a multiple casualty event as units worked through the night. Social media posts initially suggested varying numbers of victims, but officers have since confirmed the extent of the injuries and are continuing to search the area for any additional evidence. The first 911 call reported shots fired near East Central Boulevard and Ian Orange Avenue, sparking a swift response from law enforcement. This tragic event has left the community shaken as investigations continue into what led to the shooting. Updates are expected as more information becomes available. Gunshot incident grounds. Flights at Haiti Airport on November 11th at 3:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A Spirit Airlines plane preparing to land at Toussaint Louverture International Airport in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, was struck by a gunshot, according to media reports. By 3:30 p.m., the flight was redirected and safely landed in Santiago, Dominican Republic. A flight attendant sustained minor injuries and is currently receiving treatment. As of 3:32 p.m., Spirit Airlines announced the suspension of all flights to Haiti for an indefinite period. Shortly after, JetBlue and American Airlines followed suit, canceling their flights to and from Haiti until Thursday. At 3:34 p.m., the airport ceased all operations entirely. Later footage, submitted at 5:33 p.m., revealed the bullet's entry point in the plane's fuselage, which passed through the baggage compartment, adding to the gravity of the situation.
It goes from here.
NYPD officer shot. Suspect killed. In Queens shootout following armed robberies. A NYPD officer and a bystander were wounded and a 57-year-old suspect was killed in a chaotic shootout on a crowded Queen Street Tuesday evening. Police say the suspect, Gary Worthy of Springfield Gardens, was a career criminal with a lengthy history of violent offenses. The incident began around 6:30 p.m. when officers Rich Wong and his partner were canvassing for a suspect linked to 2 armed robberies earlier that hour, one at a smoke shop on Guy R. Brewer Boulevard and another at a bodega on Hillside Avenue. According to NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney, a witness flagged the officers and pointed to Worthy. When officers tried to stop him, he fled, brandished a gun, and fired a shot, striking Officer Wong in the thigh. Wong returned fire, hitting Worthy in the face. Worthy was taken to Jamaica Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Officer Wong, a 7-year veteran of the force, was also treated at the hospital and is expected to recover. A 26-year-old woman was shot in the leg during the exchange. Authorities are unsure whether the suspect or police fired the bullet, but they attribute her injury to the suspect's disregard for public safety. Police say Worthy was wanted for 5 gunpoint robberies in the area between Halloween and November 15th, during which shots were fired. He had 17 prior arrests, including charges of murder, robbery, and drug possession, and was on lifetime parole for a firearms conviction. Just last week, Worthy had been released without bail following an arrest for felony narcotics possession and resisting arrest. Mayor Eric Adams expressed frustration with the criminal justice system, linking this incident to another violent spree earlier in the week, where 3 people were fatally stabbed in Manhattan. We're angry because we've witnessed a system that's failing New Yorkers, Adams said. A violent offender with a history of gun crimes and recent arrests was free to terrorize our communities once again. The incident unfolded during the busy evening rush on Jamaica Avenue, where bystanders dove for cover as shots rang out. Police later recovered the suspect's gun at the scene. Investigations into the shootout and Worthy's recent crimes are ongoing. Bronx shooting incident. Police detained suspect search for another Friday, November 22nd, 2024. At 3:25 p.m., a 911 call came in reporting an unconfirmed incident near Lafayette Avenue and Underhill Avenue. Officers responded immediately. At 3:31 p.m., police began searching for a suspect who had reportedly fired a gun at officers and fled the scene. Shortly after, reports suggested that an officer might have been injured. However, this was later clarified. No officers were hurt during the encounter. By 3:39 p.m., police detained one suspect, who was then transported to a nearby hospital. Thankfully, his injuries were confirmed to be non-life-threatening. At 5:56 p.m., additional details emerged. According to the Daily News, when officers arrived in an unmarked car, the suspect allegedly took a shooter's stance. Officers engaged and shot the suspect in the leg. He remains in stable condition at the hospital. Police have recovered a firearm from the scene but are still actively searching for another individual who was seen with the suspect before the shooting occurred. This investigation is ongoing.
Good evening. This is the second time in 3 days our officers had to confront individuals on the street with a deadly weapon, a gun, and have to protect themselves and the community. In this case, the perpetrator was arrested and indicted from a gun arrest in September of 2024, and he's walking around the streets of the Bronx today. Everything I'm about to tell you is depicted on body-worn camera and external video. At approximately 3:10 this afternoon, members of the 43rd Precinct Neighborhood Safety Team in uniform responded to a 911 call of a large dispute with a firearm. When they respond to the rear of 755 White Plains Road, the video shows us two of the perpetrators coming to a gate as our police officers pull up in a car. At this time, the perpetrator pulls a weapon, a 9mm, loaded, takes a shooting stance at our officers. As they respond, discharge their firearms, striking the perpetrator twice in the leg. Our officers quickly handcuff the perpetrator, render aid, and he's removed to a local hospital along with our officers. Like I said, this is the second time in 3 days we have to confront people on the street with a history of firearms arrests, make split-second decisions to defend ourselves and protect their community. That being said, I'll open it up for any questions.
Thank you for joining us on another riveting journey into the world of real crime. Stay safe and always keep an eye out.